When you start to sell your lesson plans, you may start to wonder how you can continually have a repository of items to sell and keep your customers coming back for more. The truth is, there are many different types of lessons you can sell online, and today we're going to go over a list of many of them. Hey, welcome back to Sell Your Lessons, the place to learn how to sell your lesson plans online. I'm Jessie, your digital marketing coach, and today we're going to go over the different types of lessons you can sell online. Because truth be told, there is not just one. We're going to go over three main categories, being just main lesson plans and practice, some bundles that you could create, and then all the little bit of extra things a teacher might need in their classroom. Let's go ahead and jump right in. First, we start with the core lesson plans and practice. This, of course, includes lesson plans right at the top, but then you have to start to think about what sorts of things is a teacher going to need after the basic lesson. You're going to need to practice. So things like worksheets are a really great complement to go with these lesson plans. The nice thing about worksheets is a worksheet can take an entire lesson and break off one piece of it and kind of go over that as well. So worksheets are sort of endless. Along with worksheets, you can have games. Games are another great way for kids to really get engaged with the content, and the nice thing is one type of game can be modified for different units. Therefore, you can kind of hit different subjects with the same type of game. One teacher might want this game for this subject, and another teacher might want to purchase the same game on a different subject. And because you are continually putting out new content, then they have that option. A project is another great example of something that you can kind of structure differently for different subjects, but you can have many different projects to offer. Centers are another great idea. You can take kind of mini lessons and break them down into these centers that students can go around the room and continually have a change of topic every few minutes so they stay engaged and the workload is not overwhelming, and yet it's a really great way to practice in the classroom. As a classroom teacher, I absolutely loved centers. Having someone create the centers ahead of time for me would have saved a ton of time. Along with centers, you can have flashcards. Flashcards are great just for a little practice at the beginning of class or the end of class. As a center, just right after the lesson, flashcards are so flexible. You can use them over and over again in many different areas, and so they're very useful for the classroom teacher. And at the end of all of this, of course, you have your assessments and your tests. So even if you're able to create maybe mid-unit assessments, then this also helps the students practice the material that they've learned. Next, we're going to move on to the next type of lesson plan that you can sell, and that would be kind of in bundles. So whether that's one unit or a month or a semester or even a full year, you can have all those lesson plans, everything that we just went over, from the centers to the flashcards to the projects to the games, all bundled together. And people will really kind of be drawn to that. Not just a classroom teacher, but also homeschooling educators will really want that kind of material. One of the subjects I used to teach had zero curriculum. I had to build the curriculum. And if I had found someone selling these lessons online pre-created for me, that would have saved so much time and energy that I put into not only deciding what to teach, but how to teach it, how to practice it, and how to assess it. Bundles are a great way to solve this problem. Next, we get into all the extras, everything from an interactive notebook, which I know a lot of teachers like to use in their classroom. You can create all those little individual different pieces that go in the interactive notebook, and a customer or teacher can come in and pick and choose the parts that they want to put in the interactive notebook they use in their classroom. Also, as an extra, we have sub-lesson plans. Sub-lesson plans are so widely needed, and yet I don't see a lot of people talking about them. To have a lesson that's not just a throwaway, but something that's truly educational and value to the students that you can kind of think about ahead of time is really useful. And to be able to have someone else create it for me and say, here, this is a great thing to use when you're not feeling well, or there's a family emergency, or you just need the day off for something else. Having sub-lesson plans right at the ready that you know are high quality are going to put your mind at ease, the sub's mind at ease, and your administration's mind at ease. Another thing people are using in the classroom are the Google apps for, say, a Google Classroom. A lot of schools and districts are moving towards Google, some are not, and that's fine, but for the ones that are, having Google lessons that you can upload for students to edit are really, really useful, especially for some of the teachers that aren't necessarily as tech savvy. Having that opportunity to come in and say, here's a lesson, here's how you use it, and this is what your students are going to get out of it can be super useful. So things that are geared for a Google Classroom are also a great opportunity to create a type of lesson to sell. Another thing is bell work or a bell ringer, something that especially those middle and high school students that have to travel from class to class, something they can come in and find on the board to kind of get their mindset switched to your subject is very powerful. I've seen so many teachers utilize this, and for you to create all those questions, think about it, 180 school days or whatever, however many school days you have at your school, teachers need at least that many questions to kind of get their students in the mindset of their class. So for you to create all of that material for them, just boom, done, is so enticing for people who want to buy these kinds of lesson plans online. And posters are another great resource. I know that one of my most coveted items was this silly little poster I purchased online for like $7. And it was just one of those things that even as I was done teaching in the classroom, I just could not let that poster go, and I have it to this day. So posters are a really great way to kind of, as students, even if they're not necessarily, you know how it is, maybe not paying attention to you in the classroom, they start to wander, they start to look around, they're still learning, and just having that educational material always present is going to continue to have their minds turning and always learning. Now, I know there are so many different types of lesson plans, and I'm sure I did not cover them all. I know I did not cover them all. So what kind of other ideas do you have, or what kind of needs do you have in your classroom that you wish someone would build? Why don't you drop it in the comments below? I'd love to discuss that with you. And next week, be sure to tune in. We're going to go over selling on your own versus selling using some of those marketplaces online, and which route is really the best for you and why you would choose one over the other. If that's something that interests you, be sure to hit the notification button below and the bell to be notified every time we put out new content. And in the meantime, check out some of the other videos on the channel, and as always, I will see you next week. Bye!